Hello, love. Welcome to Wildcard Wednesdays here on the Libran Key. This is where we take on any subject from a spiritual, more cosmic or galactic perspective. And I have been checking off some requests as we go week by week. And this one is going to be a kind of continuation from last week with setting up sacred space. And I'm thinking maybe I should probably link that somewhere, maybe in a card here up on the screen for you, if you have missed that video, okay? Now, this is going to be a galactic perspective on how to connect with your guides, your spirit guides, and even with specific spirit guides, because there was a question that someone had asked around about that as well. And Commander Ashtar is wanting to come through for this message to give us this galactic perspective. Now, he's also wanting me to remind you as well that we are all galactic beings and that we all are capable of taking on galactic perspectives, okay? Remember that. Remember that. I haven't done any notes here. I've just gotten the deck set that I'm using, and I am also working with the crystal blue Aventurine because there is an energy of discernment that is required, and that is very much, it's essential to connecting with guides. And I'm also getting the energy of the voice coming through and asking and requesting to connect being as equally as important. Because the whole thing is there's a lot of information out there. And I just want to, say this first before I get into it. There's a lot of information online now, everywhere, okay? Around connecting with your spirit guides. How do you connect with your spirit guides? I can't emphasize enough to take what resonates and leave what doesn't when it comes to that, because there are things that are going to resonate for you and things that won't. And you always have to go on what feels right intuitively for you. And that comes from being centered. That comes from trusting your intuition. And sometimes it's not an automatic thing, right? You have to kind of work through it. You need to test the waters, is what I'm hearing, right? Because we're going on feeling here. This is a very divine feminine thing. The research, the trying to understand it, that's very divine masculine. But then you need to kind of weigh within yourself how that feels. I'm actually being shown the scales of Ma'at now. These ancient Egyptian scales, right, of weighing the heart and the heart being light like a feather. That's how it has to feel. It needs to feel like effortless. It needs to feel, and when I say effortless, I don't mean obviously like you're just gonna sit there and it's like all gonna, it has to feel like, it doesn't have to feel like it's tedious, okay? It doesn't have to feel like, and I just want to clarify that. It's not, it has to feel right. It shouldn't feel heavy. That's the confirmation and the clarifier here. It shouldn't feel heavy to you, and it shouldn't feel scary. It shouldn't feel, there shouldn't be doubt. And this is why it's so important to open up sacred space when you want to confirm whether or not you're working with a guide, whether you want to connect more deeply with your spirit guides, whether you want to call in specific guides, okay? So I am gonna link that video. I'll put it up in a card here. I will link it as well in the description box below, because that is the foundation for everything. Like, I'm actually being shown, Commander Ashtar is bringing in the tower energy, the tower card, as an example of when you build something on shoddy ground, it falls. Sacred space and creating sacred space is essential. It creates the foundation for you to be able to open up your auric field, open up your energy field, call it what you will, in order to call in or bring in closer to you your guides or specific guides, let's say you are interested in working with, in order to go more deeply into understanding that, okay? And there's also, it's interesting because he's also showing me here that it's very important to understand that the universe, spirit, God, may be sending certain guides your way, or you may be getting certain confirmations through synchronicities is what he's showing me, like whether it's repeating numbers, whether it's signs, whether it is symbols, that you are meant to be working with certain guides or certain energies. And that once you open up that sacred space and you confirm nothing can enter this sacred space that is not in alignment with your highest and greatest good. If that guide is meant to show up, it will show up for you. And you have to trust that. You have to believe that, because sometimes we get fixated. And it's interesting because this is a very human thing, is what he's showing me. We get fixated. We think we want to work with a specific energy or guide. He's actually giving me the analogy of witches right now. So if you resonate with being a witch, right? There's just so much stuff out there about like, oh, all witches need to work with this particular energy or that particular energy. No, you work on what resonates for you, because every witch's journey is unique. And there may be certain universal energies around witchcraft, I get it, but it's not the same for everybody. So you might be thinking, I need to call in a specific guide. I need to call in this particular guide because, I don't know, I heard it somewhere. Or maybe there is something that's driving you in a more, I don't know, like, it could be egoic way. It could be, and I mean that in the, you know, I don't mean that in a like, you being a big fat ego, you know, thinking, oh yeah, this energy wants to work with me. Maybe it is that, I don't know, right? But spirit will always give you what you need, not necessarily what you think you want. So please bear that in mind going forward. If there are particular spirit guides or energies that you want to work with, also remember that depending on where you're at on your journey, there's a time and place for certain guides to come through. And sometimes you need to work really simply in the beginning before you start getting into like different energies that may feel a little bit more complicated to work with, okay? And there's nothing at all wrong in that. Do not feel bad about that, please. This is all part of your journey. Essentially, you need to show up. That's all. You just need to show up in sacred space. Creating that sacred space is essential. So again, I've done all that in a previous video, which I will link. Please visit that before you begin to open up to connecting with certain guides, your own spirit guides, etc., etc. Now, one thing I just want to start as well, say before I start, oh my God, yeah, because there's so much to say here about this, okay? And I really want to bring it to you in a way that's concise and clear. Thank you, Commander Ashtar. He keeps on reiterating that for me. Also remember that your guides, there are certain guides that will come in during certain periods in your life that are around you, and other times they'll leave. But we always have a core set of like what people refer to as a spiritual team, okay? These could be a combination of passed on loved ones, is what I'm hearing, galactic beings, angels, ancestors, Commander Ashtar also showing me elemental beings, beings from the Fey realm, if that resonates for you. But we're also talking about animals as well, animal spirits, animal guides, animals connected to galactic star nations, okay? It could even be simply an energy or an archetype of an energy you were working with. Remember that spirit guides are unique to you. And he's showing me now the macrocosm again. So there are a lot of people, for example, that have Archangel Michael as a guide, or Archangel Raphael as a guide, or Commander Ashtar, for example, as a guide, or the archangels as guides. But then there are other very unique energies that are unique to you, right? That could be specific to you. Guides that really, like in your practice, you don't see anybody else working with, but that's specific to you, okay? I'm also getting guardian angels as well, okay? So guardian angels, angelic energies, okay? Light beings is another thing I'm getting. I'm also getting, whether you consider yourself or identify with being an indigo or a crystal or a rainbow soul. Starseed sometimes referred to as well. Don't get caught up on the words. Commander Ashtar is saying to me, basically, if you resonate with those energies, you will have guides connected to those energies as well, okay? Mama Gaia also can be a guide, okay? And spirit, of course, can be a guide, okay? He's like, people get it. You can move forward now. Okay, so I'm going to be asking through the Vice Versa Tarot and the Prism Oracle for any additional messages that want to come through regarding this. And Commander Ashtar cannot emphasize enough that you have to trust your intuition and follow your intuition. Even, he goes, if someone you know around you is saying, oh, you should work with this guide, or, you know, you get a reading done and, you know, someone's saying to you in the reading, this particular guide is really, this particular energy, I should say, is really open to working with you as a guide. Again, trust your intuition. And it could be that what's coming through at that particular time is not necessarily meant for you right now, because readings can often bring up things that are connected to your higher timeline, depending again on the reader that you're working with. This could also be, again, the divine timing of it, because when we get into a space, a sacred space, where we are, what's the word here? I'm hearing dismantling is what Commander Ashtar is saying to me, because he gets time and the mastery of time. Commander Ashtar knows, like, he's a master of this. He's showing me that time and space dissolve, right? When we get into sacred space and we're working with the energy of our guides and we're working in higher frequencies and different dimensional spaces. So what he's showing me is that a reader could be seeing something that you're going to do in like 2 years Earth time. But if you're not feeling it right now, you're not feeling it right now. And that is cool, you know? Take that information in and be discerning. He keeps on coming back to this, be discerning. Okay. And he wants me to focus now on the voice. Okay, so. And he's actually giving me, okay, he's giving me a personal exercise that would be really helpful for you as well, if you're just at the beginning of doing this, connecting with your guides specifically, okay? You have to ask and say it out loud. If there is a specific guide that you want to begin working with, that you know is good for you to be working with, that is in your highest and greatest good to be working with, that perhaps you, using this language again, need to work with versus wanting or thinking you want to work with, again, in sacred space, you declare that. You can declare that and affirm that even outside of sacred space, is what he's showing me on the daily. but saying it again with full-on intention, that I call in or I ask my spirit team, my spirit guides, all that isn't aligned with my highest and greatest good, to begin working with me. I ask this of my own free will, okay? So these guides that are in alignment with my highest and greatest good, you can speak to them out loud and say, show me a sign that you want to, that you are around me, okay? Show me, and be specific here. I can't emphasize that enough, right? It could be like as specific as a color that you see in a particular form, right? Like, I don't know, show me a particular flower. If I see this flower, then I know that you are around me and that you're working with me. Begin to, what Commander Ashtar is saying is like, begin to program the energy, is essentially what he's saying. But the important thing is that you must say it out loud. You must use your voice. You must request it. He keeps on emphasizing the power of your voice in requesting that you connect with certain guides, okay? Calling that energy in is incredibly important, and doing so in a sacred space is important as well, okay? Now he wants me to get right into the cards. So he wants to bring in, it's crazy. He's showing me that, like, oftentimes we think we have to do it all alone, when we are all connected. I mean, this goes right back to unity consciousness. He's showing me unity consciousness and this connection to our guides. And he's showing me lineages of guides and how almost anything can be a guide. Like, it's crazy. Spirit acting as a guide around you, day to day, giving you signs, is a guide. He also doesn't want us to get stuck on the idea of having to know all these guides all at once. Allow yourself to tread the journey, is what he's saying to me. Because that builds your confidence. There's no quick fix here. There's no quick fix here. And sometimes we can get way too ahead of ourselves, wanting to do this. But the energy of wanting is very different from the energy of feeling centered and doing the work. Because he's also bringing a very sober energy to this, okay? Very much in Commander Ashtar fashion, you know, wanting us to really look at this. There's a seriousness to this as well, right? Because this is soul work. This is the work that you're doing. And again, he's not saying this to frighten or scare you in any way, but deeply understand and be discerning. I think what he really wants to say here is to be discerning about the information that you're getting regarding connecting with certain guides. He wants me to draw attention to correspondences, because this is a big thing in witchcraft, right? Where you work with certain colors, you work with certain crystals, you work with certain energies, you work with certain days of the week, planetary energies, when we want to connect with certain guides, okay? But he's saying that that's also something that's really unique to you, and that you may have certain guides of your own, that you also connect with certain crystals, certain colors, certain energy, certain archetypal energies, what he's showing me, certain, like, I'm being shown candles, like candle magic, elements, fire, water, air, earth, what, again, that is very unique to you, and trust that, okay? Like, if you're being told, oh, you want to connect with this specific guide, or like, You know, for example, like I'll give you the example of the goddess Aphrodite. So let's say you want to connect with the goddess Aphrodite, and you're reading online that, you know, she's associated with this crystal and this particular element and this particular, I don't know what, okay? And you're just like, but she keeps on showing me ducks. I don't know. Just came through. Perhaps there's something to that for you. Perhaps it is the way that she presents herself to you. And then maybe you do work with rose quartz to connect with her as well, which is pretty standard across the board, okay? Trust yourself. My God, Commander Ashtar cannot emphasize that enough. Okay, wants me to get to the cards. Here we go. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. So we've got the Hierophant coming out here. And isn't this a very interesting image of the Hierophant? Let's just meditate on that for a second. Okay. I'm hearing false prophets. I'm hearing false appearances. Falsity appearing real. And then we got the Seven of Wands on that side. I'm just going to flip the card here so you can see it. This is what is beautiful about this deck, okay? Look at that on the flip side. Okay, so this goes back to discernment and really trusting yourself. The information that you're getting, is it true? Connecting to your guides in sacred space. He wants me actually to go back to the energy, this particular exercise. We'll get to that in a moment. We've got the Chariot on the bottom of the deck, and he's carrying a caduceus in this. Do you see that? That's a nod to Kundalini energy and your life force energy represented in this Chariot card, the Chariot being your life force energy, and you trusting in that. You have a unique energetic signature. That is your soul, a unique spirit and energy that is assigned specific guides that is incredibly unique to you. He cannot emphasize this enough. And you need to go deeper into that. That's the number of 7, going deeper. I'm just going to let him speak through me for a second here because there's a lot coming through. It's part of your mission. You going deeper into this is what you signed up for when you came here, to connect more deeply with your guides and to trust in your intuition, to have faith in the messages, to understand the importance of your energy and keeping your energy pure and sacred and true. Okay, he wants me to go back to this card here. Okay, because there is a lot of, this is what's coming through. He wants me to say it, but it's overwhelming, even for me, right? There is a lot of misinformation regarding how to connect with your guides. Please be discerning. He does not say this to scare you. He wants you to build discernment. He is pointing me to the blue again in the robe of the Hierophant, underneath this red robe, okay? Look beneath the surface. Do what resonates for you. The number 5 is the number of conflict, challenge, but also freedom. When something is conflicting with your energy, it is not right for you. When something conflicts with your energy, it is not right for you. So if you're watching this video right now and you're not 100% on point with what I'm saying, first you take what resonates, second you leave what doesn't. Thirdly, you have to also feel this in your gut. Is what I'm saying resonates? Does it resonate with you? Is it pinging you? Does it feel like not heavy again? And he doesn't want you to confuse this with having to face a truth where we have a resistance to it because we know deep down inside it's true, versus I'm not feeling this at all. Like this is not jiving. Okay, so he wants me to bring you back to the body. Okay, he wants me to bring you back to the body for a second. When you connect with your guides, you will feel them through your body oftentimes. This is like a little side note he wants me to say here. But it's partly connected to what we were just talking about. So certain guides will ping you in certain areas of your body. They are connected to your chakras and your energetic centers. It's almost as if your chakras and your energetic centers are portals to connect with your guides more deeply. Okay? There are certain guides you're going to feel in your third eye, for example. Where is that in your body? You're going to feel it here. You're going to feel it in your head. You're going to feel it maybe going into the top of your head, your crown, maybe in your eyes, even your ears, right? Other guides, you feel them in your heart, this heart space. Perhaps you get tingly in your hands. Other guides are going to be in your root chakra. A lot of ancestral guides are there. Not always, though. Could be different for you, right? Start there as a practice in sacred space, opening up to your guides. Allow them to connect with you and ask them, how do you feel in my body? How can I feel you in my body? Start there. That's one thing. Second thing, you can often feel in your body, again, when something is off. And this goes back to the information you're getting about how to connect with your guides. And again, the importance of setting up sacred space. Because when you are in sacred space, you enter those kind of alpha brainwave states, right? Where you begin to relax your body more and become more open to receiving, to seeing, to hearing, to feeling your guides. Okay? And with this Seven of Wands coming up here, this is showing protection. That's what it's showing. And that 7 is coming up twice here. Okay? So, you know, it's funny. Recently I was watching something. I think it was a video. I think it was Amanda Ellis again, who was talking about protection as fortification. I came across a video of hers that I think had to do with, I can't remember what it was. I think her Merkaba cube, Metatron's cube, and protection and energy protection. And she was talking about using the word fortification instead of protection, because there can be certain things around the word protection, right? The energies that come up where we feel the need to constantly be protected, right? What we have to understand, though, is that it's an act of fortification. It is, and I agree with her on this. I see it also as strengthening. But you also need to understand, too, at the same time, that when you simply focus on the energy of being protected and you put your intention into that, you are reinforcing that fortification. Because look, I mean, life, you go, like, you know, okay, Ashtar is giving me the example here of when you are painting something and you put on gloves. Let's say you're painting something and you want to protect your hands from getting really dirty, right? It gives you that added, again, fortification, right? To protect your hands from getting dirty. You can still grab that thing, you know, and get really dirty. But what he's showing me is like, you're going to have to spend extra time and energy. Like he's showing me working with chemicals. That's what this is. Like, it's not painting like you're painting a portrait here or something, right? He's showing me like you working with some kind of chemical and understanding that there are degrees of energies and degrees of he's saying almost in a way protection, like the need to have this fortification, the need to have this strengthening of your auric field in place, but affirming that and knowing that that is true. And that is why it's important, again, to set up sacred space when you do this, okay? It's this idea that it all comes back to you having a clear mind and a clear spirit when you connect with your guides, so there's no room for doubt. Look at it that way. It's as simple as he wants to put it. Know that you are safe and know that you are protected. Once you set up that sacred space, and you call in your guardians, and you call in your wards, and you call in your angels, right? Whatever, again, resonates for you. And then don't doubt anything after that. Know that when you're connecting with your guides moving forward after that, that you are safe. It's all about intention, because no matter what kind of information you get, if that intention isn't there, it leaves a lot of room for doubt. And it leaves a lot of room for other information to come in that is going to jumble you up. A lot of white noise, you know, coming in for that. Okay, so I'm asking now for the Prism Oracle. For more confirmation around this, okay? Yeah, he's saying to me, don't confuse heaviness for truth. There is a lot that wants to come through here. He's saying to me that oftentimes what we do, I feel like this is another parallel message, but he says it's so important that we understand this on a personal level because it extends out to the collective and it extends out to our day-to-day life, right? So what he's saying is that sometimes we can feel heavy about things emotionally. Sometimes we can see that shit, like I need to face this particular thing and it's difficult for me to face and it can feel heavy. But don't confuse that with something that doesn't feel right for you. He really, really wants to clarify that. Okay. Thank you, Commander Ashtar. All right. Wants me to stop there. Asking for additional messages now to come through this Prism Oracle. Growth. Do you want me to stop there? No? I'm hearing him say there's lessons also in the heartache. So it could be that some of you have... I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, isolation. Okay. Okay. And what do we have? Yeah, sadness at the bottom of the deck. Okay. Asking you to just expand upon this, Commander Ashtar. He's showing me that, okay. Okay. So he's bringing back this energy here. This is, perhaps there was, I feel like this is a specific message for some of you who are finding this video, okay? Or this video finding you. There is an energy of sadness around this. Perhaps there was someone that you put your faith in, that you trusted. Someone on your spiritual journey. Perhaps there was someone that thought you knew like what spirit guide was supposed to be working with you. And it didn't work out for you. There's sadness around that, right? There's this energy of sadness. And look at what's underneath sadness here, trust. Okay? There is a lesson to be had in the heartache is what Commander Ashtar is saying, because you are growing and you are learning to trust yourself even more. So whatever mishaps, and I say that in quotation marks, okay? Because the energy of the number 5 keeps on coming through here with the Hierophant. Conflict, challenge, change, growth. Freedom. freeing you from preconceived notions, okay? There's an energy here of the mishaps giving you the lessons you need to learn in order to grow. And understanding that the truth of everything is within you, for you, when it applies to you, okay? What works for you. This is what the isolation card is showing. There is growth in isolation in this respect, meaning that when you set up your sacred space, you meditate, you connect with yourself, you connect with your higher self, you connect with spirit, you connect with your guides. That is where the knowledge is, because the Hierophant is also a representation of hidden knowledge, right? And look at what's at the back here. What's this hidden knowledge? It's your inner self, right? Is that an apple? Yeah. And this baby, this child here, is holding a key. And then we've got, is it Willendorf? Am I saying that right? The Venus of Willendorf? This beautiful, divine, feminine, nurturing energy. That's you going within. That's you going within to find the answers, okay? Commander Ashtar cannot emphasize enough, and thank you for this, Commander Ashtar. He cannot emphasize enough. You intuitively, he's saying follow your intuition, you intuitively discerning what is right for you. Microcosm to the macrocosm again. Find what works for you when it comes to connecting with your guides. And remember to affirm that you are always safe and that you are always protected, and call upon energies to help strengthen you in that, okay, when it comes to connecting. He's also saying that your guides are always there to protect you, right? And connecting with your guides strengthens that relationship. It's a very personal experience, because you have to see your guides as like your best friends. And investing time and energy and space in them is crucial. He's saying for the mission work and for the journey, it's crucial. Because in connecting with your guides, you're also connecting with yourself, and you are strengthening that relationship to your guides and to yourself. Honing your intuition is what he's showing me. Okay, and he wants me to end with this beautiful Chariot card energy, bringing this energy forward of, and look, we've got the Big Dipper up there too, right? Ursa Major. Bringing this energy forward of your life force energy, the strength of your energy, how strong you are. Remember how strong you are, okay? The force that is within you is the force that is within everything else, that we are all connected to. Goes back to unity consciousness again, is what he's bringing through. And seeing yourself as a force to be reckoned with, even. He's giving me a lot of this extra stuff here because I feel that there is an energy that's coming through here. He really, really wants to reinforce that there is nothing to be afraid of. And if there is something in your energy where fear is coming up, you want to do the work first on that, right? And that your spirit guides can also assist you in doing the work on that as well. Because for these cards to be coming out the way that they're coming out, he really, really wants to reiterate that. I feel like we're going to be revisiting this at some point, but in a different message, like at a collective level, okay? But he keeps on coming back to this microcosm to the macrocosm, and you strengthening your light, strengthening your energy, strengthening your frequency, and that this is part of the journey when it comes to connecting with your spirit guides. Okay. Yeah. And that Ursa Major coming through here on this card, and I'm seeing the bear, right? And the bear spirit coming through here. That's your guides again having your back, okay? That mama bear kind of energy wanting to come through for this. All right, I'm going to end it there. Thank you, Commander Ashtar, for being here with us. Thank you for sticking around for the entirety of this reading. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing this space with me. I hope that this has supported you in some way. And I'm sending you so much love wherever you are, in love and liberation always.